Oh, the video. So here, I'll make sure you're not in. Here, you can do it in a way that you're not in. Oh, this guy. Okay, so Reb Natsan, the first Torah that he heard from the Rebbe when he came to Breslov, he came to Breslov, the first Torah that he heard was this Torah, and Reb Natsan was blown away. He was blown away that the Rebbe said such Torah. This Torah is a Torah that's known in Breslov, the Torah of Tshuva. Every Elul, this is it's part of the Breslov thing. You learn Torah Vav. This is the Torah. So we're starting in Rosh Chodesh Av because we need more tshuva, so we're doing it a little bit earlier.
Because we're learning Biyam.
But I'm here. I don't know if we can go into the Ian of this Torah. First of all, over here, the Bechlal, they want to move more, but I'm in a different Torah. I'm in Torah Zamachalov, a totally different Torah. But let's try to surrender. Hareini Mekasha Atzmi. B'limud HaTorah Shel Rabbeinu L'chol HaTzadikim Sheikhni Ofel HaKadosh Mashabar Tzema U'befrat L'Rabbeinu HaKadosh Tzadik Yisoid Olam Nachman Neveh Mekor Chochma Rabbeinu Nachman Ben Fega Ben Simcha Zchus HaYogan Aleinu HaKol Yisrael Amen. But the pasuk says like this: Vayom Hashem al Moshe Kros Yeshua. This is when Moshe Rabbeinu was giving over. He's passing over the torch. He says, "Call Yeshua ben Nun. It's time to go." The rest of the pasuk. This is the whole process of Moshe Rabbeinu giving over the Messiah. Moshe Kibul Torah Sinai, or Messiah Yeshua, Yeshua Scheiner. This is the Messiah's Torah. And the Rebbe Kedarka Bakodesh goes into a whole different l'chayra, has nothing to do with the pasuk. Builds a building. Each sif is building on building, and another floor, and another floor, and another room. Puts it all together. There's a sikha where the Rebbe says that his Torahs were made like a palace. Like a person walks into the most beautiful palace. He walks into the hallway, and he sees rooms. And from the rooms there are windows, and each window has. That's how the Rebbe built his Torah, and it's all built as one big palace. So it's mind stimulating and it's heart stimulating. So open your brains and open your hearts. Zog the Heilige Rebbe. Ki tzorach kol adam lemayit b'chvoid atzmai u'leharbois b'chvoid hamokim. Person has to minimize his own kvoid atzmai, which we need to understand. What does it mean, kvoid atzmai? And to be marba b'chvoid hamokim. So the first lamda shekasha that we can ask over here, is it two separate avodas? Is there a avodah of minimizing my ego, and another avodah of making more cover to Hashem? Or is it haynu hach? By me minimizing my ego, I'm automatically bringing more cover to the Eibishter. Pashtus from the lashon of the Rebbe, it sounds like it's two things. A person has to be concentrated on two avodas here. L'maid b'chvoid atzmai. What does it mean to be maid b'chvoid atzmai? It means, what's kvoid atzmai? What is atzmai? What is atzmai? What does atzmai mean? What does atzmai mean? First thing, what does it mean atzmai? What does it mean my atzmi is? Who am I? The person has to know, who are they? How are you? Who am I? Am I most of us, the first thing we have to know is most of us are not who we really are. Not most of us, almost all of us are not who we really are. Because the person's real self is his chelik alikayim imal. We go through life, and we go through the journey of life, and we get conditioned through experiences, and those experiences create a new self that is not really related to real self. And the frat, we go through the journey and we are exposed to our distance, where we're living in a world where l'chayra we don't see the Rebbeinu Shalom. The Eibush is not here. We're living in a materialistic world where everything seems to be teva, and that 1 + 1 = 2, and everything, and we don't see the spirituality. However, because we were given Ma'atam Tiyul and Mamlachas Kohanim V'Goy Kodesh, and we were given by Ma'amad Har Sinai, we were giving something more, a neshama, and this neshama is who we really are. But the ego, I heard a good word. Ego is the Rosh Tevis, edge guard out. It's a famous word, but that's what it is. We get caught up in our emotions, we get caught up in our places, and we build a certain structure and a guard from ourselves, and we're protecting ourselves from really knowing who real self is. So, and what is that? What is that ego? What is the main thing that ego touches ego? Is covered. Covered. Everybody understands. There are many taivas in the world, but all the taivas lead to one thing at the end. Covered. Taivas mammon. What does money bring to? What is power? What does power bring to? At the end of the day, it's all about covered. And why is that? Yeah. That it all leads. At the end of the day, this is where it comes to. I'm getting trapped from my own because I'm looking.
Food is not covered.
What?
Food is not covered.
No, food is is not covered. Yeah, it could be. So in Mammon for sure. Taivas Mammon, let's go. Taivas Mammon, the Rebbe says the biggest taiva. The Rebbe says that the biggest taiva is Taivas Mammon. Everybody, the world says Taivas Niv, but it's not. The biggest taiva is Taivas Mammon. The Rebbe says that, Ma'aseh with the Baal Tefillah, hello. The Baal Tefillah said that they could get out of every trap, but he heard that
they're getting tired.
To get out of it is the hardest.
It's the hardest trap to get out. Niyav, a person knows he's violating. He knows it's not morally accepted. In Mammon, there's a way to always camouflage it and make it look acceptable. Mammon's a mitzvah. So there's always a way to camouflage it and make it, and people understand it.
It's the hardest trap to get out.
The hardest trap to get out. The hardest trap. The Baal Tefillah said that he saw the Medina of Ashiras, that they made Mammon into a god, that they made people, you were estimated by how much money you are. If you didn't have enough money, you were an animal. And if you had less money, you were a bird. And if you had less money, you were an insect. That's how they labeled you based on how much money you have. Because money was the whole god. And the Baal Tefillah said, I could take anybody, he could help anybody, except for these people. But Lamais at the end, he was able to help them. And if you go through the story of how he helped these people, right, we know the story. So anyway, ego is covered. But why do we want, what is this urge for covered? What is this thing that we're looking for? Everybody wants to be recognized. Everybody wants to be validated. Everybody wants covered. What is this thing it's really coming from a very high place? Because we have a chelik elikai mimal. And the whole Bria was created, l'chvaydi barasi, the whole Bria was created for covered. So Memela, the urge of covered is instinctive in our chelik elikai mimal. But that covered belongs to the Rabbeinu Shalom. But since we have a guf and we go through life, we always tapping into that place of covered, but not in the right place. And that's what conditions ego. Anybody know what an ego is? Ego, everybody familiar with what ego is. So the Rebbe is telling us that a person has to work on minimizing the things that make him covered. And being marba are the things that bring cover to the Rebbeinu Shalom. Zog the Rebbe weiter. Because there's two types of cover. There's covered alikim and there's covered malachim. Kavod alikim is the spiritual covered. That's this covered of the purpose of the world is to bring cover to the Rebbeinu Shalom. Because what's the purpose of the world? Why was the world created? Why did Hashem Yisbarach create the world? What was the purpose? He created a world where l'chayra there is no Hashem, and our job is to reveal Hashem in the world, because from the place of Amunah. Because even though I don't see that there's godliness in the table, I don't see that there's ruchnis in the chair, but there is, because nothing could exist without the spirituality. And my job is to reveal the spirituality that there is in everything through my journey of life. So the whole purpose of the world was created for covet. And Mamela, we have this covet. If we tap into the covet, that's covet elikim, that's a kvoid elikim, then we're doing our purpose. And that kvoid elikim, nobody's going to question. Nobody's going to question when you're really connected to the spirituality, to the covet of the Eibishter, and everything that you're doing is 100% pure Rabbi Shalom. That's kvoid elikim. And Kvoid Elikim has nobody questioning Kvoid Elikim. When it's Das Torah, when everybody knows Das Torah, it's 100% Das Torah. Because it's Kvoid Elikim. Because the Chachamim and the Tzaddikim, they are purified themselves that everything that they're doing is all for the Eibishter. But most of us, even when we're doing things Lishma, it's not 100% Lishma. There's some kind of Kvoid Atzma. And that Kvoid Atzmai is what's always going to be questioned. And everybody's going to say, Mihu Zeva Ezahu, who is this person that you're giving him covet? And everybody's going to be skeptical about that covet. So says the Rebbe, there's a Mishnah, by the way. So the Rebbe says like this. Someone who chases covet, he's not going to come to covet elikim, ela the covet shemalachim. He's chasing covet, he'll get covet. If a person chases covet, he's going to get covet. But what kind of covet is he going to get? Kvoid malachim. What's the problem with kvoid malachim? Shenema boy. Kvoid malachim chakor dala. On a kvoid malachim, everybody investigates. Everybody questions. They're looking to find your failures. V'hakol choyker ma'achav v'shoyelem. Everybody's looking after him and they're asking me who's ever Ezahu. Who is this person that they're giving him this covet? And they start saying, he's not worthy of this covet. He's not worthy of this covet. That's a person who's chasing covet. So he's going to get covet, but he's going to get a covet that's questionable. Most people, that even if a person is a smart person, he doesn't want the covet because he knows that as soon as he gets the covet, there's going to be people question. As soon as there's some kind of a thing that you're getting, honor that you're getting, there's always going to be somebody saying, I know that guy. You know that guy? That guy is coming to say a Shiur by Scheiner. That guy, you know who that guy is? Everybody questions the covet. But if you bring the covet to the Eibishter, and your purpose is to bring Kvoid Elikim, the Kvoid Elikim, nobody questions. Avo Misha Berech Min HaKovet. What does it mean he's running away from covet? Shememait, by the way, be medayik in the words of the Rebbe. Lema'et b'Kvoid Atzma. What does it mean, Lema'et? You shouldn't have any covet. L'chayra, I would ask a question. What do you mean? A Yid has to know, I don't want to have any ego. I don't want to have any covet for myself. It's not shaykh. The Rebbe says minimize. That means if today you wanted this amount of covet, take it down a notch. Tomorrow, you take it down another notch. It's a process. It's not something, if you say right away, you're full of baloney. Because everybody wants recognition. Everybody wants to be admired. Everybody wants to be validated. There's no person in the world, it's natural. We were born with and I was explaining because the reason is, it's coming from a chelik al which was created for covet. Says the Rebbe. But be memayed b'chvoid atzmai. Do something less for your ego and more for God. And do the next day, do something more or less, and that we'll see. That is what tshuva is. Says the Rebbe. Someone who runs away from covet, he's being memayed b'chvoid atzmai. Azai, who's zeichel covet elikim, he merits to get covet elikim for us. Ain't b'nei adam choykim al kvoidoi. Nobody's investigating him. Imuroyu, imulav. They don't ask any questions. I don't care what you did yesterday. I don't care what you did the day before. Right now, you're coming. You're selling me kvoid elikim. I want to listen. I am connected to kvoid elikim. The olav nema kvoid elikim hasta davar. On him it says the kvoid elikim hasta davar ki also lachkor ala kvoid hazeh. The Rebbe learns from the pasuk kvoid elikim hasta davar that the kvoid elikim is hidden. The Rebbe is teaching the pasuk not that the covet of Hashem is hidden, But kavod of Hashem hides all the other negativities. No one's going to question you when you're doing something for the kavod of the Eibishter. Sure. So now we have understanding that the avodah here that the Rebbe wants us to do is to constantly be conscious of being memayit b'chvod atzmai, minimize a little bit from my kavod every day, and be marba b'chvod hamakom. And the more I do that, the more I'm going to get kavod that no one's going to question my kavod, which is the real kavod. Because kavod that's being questioned, at the end of the day, if the kavod malachim comes to failure. Look what's going on in the world with Donald Trump, right? The President of the United States. President of the United States is a bigger kavod than to be President of the United States. Every single day there's some new maisa of investigating. That's called kavod malachim. That's kavod malachim. And at the end of the day, these kavod malachim, halavai doesn't happen to him, but at the end of the day, they get buried and they fail, and it's exposed that not just the kavod, they come to the biggest bizayin. Their kavod turns into the opposite, which is the biggest bizayin. Says the Rebbe, "V'iyavsha liskois lekavod hazeh." So how do we get to this kavod? So now we know. If I'm looking, what do I want? And my purpose is to bring kavod to the Eibishter and take away my kavod. But how could I get to this kavod that's a kavod elikim that no one's going to question, no one's going to be skeptical, no one's going to say, "Who are you?" It's kavod elikim. The only way to get to that is through tshuva. What's tshuva? Says the Rebbe, "Ve'ikra tshuva k'sheyishma b'zyoynoi yidoin v'yishtoi." When a person listens to his shame, he listens to his humiliation, and he's quiet, and he absorbs it, and he doesn't answer, and not just he quiet, he accepts it. Yidoin, what's the difference between yidoin and yishtoik? Yishtoik is shtika, lashon from quiet. What's vayidoim Aaron? Vayidoim Aaron. What was the Aaron lost the two Nadav and Avihu who were bigger than Moshe and Aaron. Vayidoim Aaron. He accepted. What's accepting? Accepting is not saying. I had this week interesting guy being challenged with his child, and whenever I had a sprach with his child, he came over to me and he said to me, "I don't know what to do." He was so tzabrochen. He doesn't know what to do. He says, "It's my averis." He says, "I accepted it." He said, "You know why I accepted it? It's my averis. When I was younger, these are my averis. They were just giving me back for my averis." So I said, "You're blaming yourself?" He said, "Yeah." So I said, "That's not acceptance. If you're blaming yourself for what you did, that's not acceptance. That's blame. That's not acceptance. Acceptance, that means you're saying, I'm going through a really bad situation. Acceptance means when I'm finding the good in the situation that looks so dark for me, and I'm accepting it not because I'm being metaritz, because I'm finding a way to shift blame. I am actually accepting it because I know, Rabbeinu Shalom, everything you do is for the best for me, even though I'm unable to see it. I know that you're here, but I don't know where you are. Please help me find you in this darkness. Please help me find you." So acceptance, shame. What's shame and humility? Everybody married here? Yeah, you're married. You're married? Everybody? So if you're married, it's very easy to understand what humiliation is, right? You're right? Matas. Humiliation. If you're married, your wife is humiliating you all the time. You don't know what I'm talking about. But most people know what I'm talking about, right? Everybody, you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? Everybody knows that humiliation is bizoin. It's not that she's shaming you. Whenever she's calling you out, or she's questioning you, or she's upset, it's really she's hanging her coat on the wrong hook, but she's right about something. She doesn't know. By the way, stop a second. I learned this myself from my own experiences. Your wife is your mirror. She knows one thing. You're mechuyev to give her sheira ksusa v'inasa. You're mechuyev to give your wife physical, money, clothing, physicality, emotional. You have to provide for emotionally. You have to provide for her spiritually. If you're not doing your job in one of the three categories, she knows it. She doesn't know how to express it until she finds some stupid thing that she's maybe wrong, maybe right, doesn't make a difference. And that's where she catches it. But she knows, because she knows that you're not giving her what she needs to give, what you need to get. So what is she doing? And then someday she acts out. Every wife acts out differently, but every wife acts out. Every wife acts out. And when she acts out, that's your humiliation. And what do? We defend ourselves. No. And then, so she's quiet. Then the next time she acts out, no, come on, you defend yourself. But if you're yishma b'zyoinai, you hear your shame and you recognize that what she's saying is really the Eibishter talking to you, and he's telling you you need to fix yourself. There's something that you're not doing right, and she's just your indicator. She's your alarm clock telling you it's time for you to wake up. That is the Iker Tshuva. Yes, but the Rebbe is not talking about, I'm bringing the wife as just an example, because that's something that we could have, but really, Tshuva is accepting my own humiliation. Person, what? Ask.
Saying Haruta Ziva Kabul is achievement.
Oh, so the big kasha is you're asking a great question. The Rambam in Elul Tshuva says, everybody knows, what's Tshuva? Charot alava, Kabbalah ala osid, Achi yavod alav yodeh taluma shalayach ta'id. The Rambam gives us a halacha. What is Tshuva? So what's the Rebbe being machadish here? What's the Rebbe being machadish here? Tshuva is, Charota, I regret what I did. I'm a kabul never to do it again. That even the Rebbeinu Shalom knows I'm never going to do it again. Sure, I did tshuva. The Rebbe is saying a new chiddush. Ikra tshuva sheyishma b'zyoino yidan v'yishta. Teretz says it's the same thing. The Rebbe is being mefarish the Rambam. What does it mean charota? What does regret mean? What does it mean regret? What does it mean I regret? What does regret mean? Regret means not that I'm denying what I did. I'm actually accepting that I did a bad act, and I'm accepting the humiliation of how stupid was I, that I was so shallow and so limited to be able to do that stupid thing that I did before, and I'm never going to do it again because I regret. There's a kasha on the Rambam, by the way. Charot alava l'choira. If I regret, then it's automatically I'm a kabul. If a guy's here, an example, a guy's driving and he's texting while he's driving, and chas v'shalom, because he was texting, he has an accident, he hits a kid, and the kid goes to the hospital. Is that guy ever texting again? The guy he was texting, he's never texting again. He saw this action brought this result. I never intended to have this result. I regret texting. So I'm never going to do it again. So why do you need two things? Charot alava is automatically Kabbalah loss. If I really regret, I'm never going to do it again. The Rambam is saying I need Charot alava and Kabbalah loss. So famous question on the Rambam. According to the Rebbe over here, the Rebbe is telling us that the avodah here is to accept my humiliation. By accepting my own humiliation, a person who did averis and creeps out of his averis, and he looks back at what he did, he looks back at what he does, and he says, what was I thinking? I don't even understand what was I thinking. I'm so humiliated by the fact that I was able to be in such a situation. And that's why if you medayik, the words are keshiyishma b'zyoinoi, because there's a question here. The Rebbe is telling me I have to hear my humiliation. That means I have to wait for him to humiliate me in order for me to do tshuva. Ikra tshuva keshiyishma b'zyoinoi yidav yishtoi. Teretz says no. I have to hear my own b'zoyin. I have to be disgusted with myself that I was so shallow and so limited that I wasn't able to be misgaber, and I wasn't that humiliation. And I accept that humiliation, and I'm yishtoi. That is the ikar tshuva. Says the Rebbe. He less covered below chav. There's a lashon hazara. That covered is I lost you. He's sleeping. He less covered below chav. There's no covered. There's covered. You can't pronounce covered without the kaf. And the chaf, there's a lashon hazar. It's Kabbalic, and I don't know what I'm talking about here, so I'm gonna just go weiter, accept the words. Kaf is Keser. Keser is the highest sphere. The Rebbe wants to tell us that covered, what we think is covered, is the highest place that a person can get to. That the whole bria was created for covered. Covered is Keser. It's the highest sphere is covered, and covered doesn't have. You can't pronounce covered without a kaf. You can't write covered without a kaf. So kaf represents Keser, and Keser is covered. And what is Keser? Keser is the shame of Ekya. What's the shame of Ekya? The Rebbe says Ekya means, and it's also Lashon Hazar, Ana Zamen Lemeheve. I am ready to exist, says the Rebbe. Hainu koydem atshuva. Before a person does tshuva, adayin ein lo havaya. He has no presence in the world. If he didn't do tshuva, he has no reason to exist. To live in this world and just be nana from the world, there's no havaya. That's not, I'm existing, I'm not living. Living means I'm being present in the moment. Being present in the moment means I'm being connected every moment to the spirituality that there is around me and in me in this world. So before a person does tshuva, he has no havaya, he's existing, but he's not living. But when a person is because it's a person who does Averis, he's better off not being born than he was born. We say it every day in davening. When a person comes to purify himself and he says, he makes a reckoning, he says, it's time for me to do tshuva. The last is tshuva, now he's in this place of ekya, which is ana zamen lemehevi. I am ready to exist. I'm saying now, I'm ready to exist. We know that the Bria, the Eibishter created the Bria before the Bria was the Shem Ekya. In the Bria, we say Baruch Atah Hashem, it's Shem Havaya. Havaya means being present. Before the Bria, it was before we became Klal Yisrael. Moshe Rabbeinu came to Klal Yisrael and he said, I'm taking you out of Mitzrayim. What was the simon that he gave to Klal Yisrael that he's going to be able to take him out of Mitzrayim? Ekya Hashekya. He asked that Rabbi Shalom, he says, what am I going to tell him? Ekya Hashekya. The feed this Torah, we'll see later, not today, but we'll see what Ekya Hashekya. There's two Ekyas. That means Klal Yisrael, before we became Klal Yisrael, we were in a bechina of Koydem HaTshuva, we were in a bechina of Ekya. We didn't have a Torah, we didn't have the reason to exist, to live. So we were in the process of, I am ready to exist. I'm not existing yet, I'm ready to exist. So each person, when he goes comes Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, or when a person gets a Hirut Tshuva, and he wants to do Tshuva, that moment that he wants to do Tshuva is the highest moment. That's Keser. Because that's the moment where he wants to exist. I am ready, or I'm surrendering. I know I did wrong, and now I'm surrendering. I want to exist. Says the Rebbe, I now want to be present in this world. I want to have a purpose in this world. I have a reason to live. And that is what Keser is. Keser, which is the highest madrega, is the place of I am ready. Because once you become Havaya, there's a you inside. The place of surrender is the place of no kvodatzma. There is no me here. I am ready to do whatever it takes. I want to do tshuva. I messed up. I want to start again. I want to exist. That place of I want to exist is higher than the tshuva that you're actually doing. Because the ratzon is the place of no me. Once I start doing tshuva, there's me inside here. There's kvoid atzmai also. But the place of keser, the place of the highest moment, is the moment right before you actually do tshuva, in the place of being ready to do tshuva, in the place of surrendering to be able to do tshuva. Says the Rebbe, and what is Keser? What is this thing, this high madriga called Keser? Keser is a lashon of amtana, of waiting. We all want a quick fix. Everybody wants a quick fix, whether you're struggling, whatever your struggles are. Parnasa, your struggles in Shalom Bayis, your struggles with chinuch, whatever the struggles are, the struggles are you, and you want to change it. You're looking. Okay, I'm ready. I realize I did wrong. I want to change. I want quick fix. How am I going to do it? Tshuva doesn't work like that. Tshuva is not a quick fix. Tshuva, the rotzen to do tshuva is the quickest fix. It's one decision. That's it. I'm never doing it again. I'm not. I want to do tshuva. I am ready to do tshuva, but it's a process. So Rebbe is telling you, Keser, which is the highest madrega, is a lashon of amtana. You want to do tshuva? Okay, come in. Let's do it. Let's start working. This is a process. This doesn't heal in one day. What's the process? You have to be memayid b'chvod atzmai. You have to be ma'abed b'chvod hamakom. Start minimizing your ego. Start being conscious. Start being in awareness. Oh, that's me. That's my ego. At least, even if you can't control it, at least identify it. At least say that. Let's be honest. That was me. Yeah, I made it. It seemed like I'm doing this for somebody else. I'm doing it for the Eibishter. I'm doing it for Ruchni's thing. But that was me. Identify it and say, I want to change it. I want to minimize it. How do I do this? So the first thing is I have to be ready. I'm not zamil Ekya. And the second thing is understand that it's a process. It's not going to be fixed in 1 second. I got to go through this process of Amtana. Says the Rebbe, like the Gemara says, a person who wants to purify himself, Messiah, like they're going to help him. What does it mean they're going to help you? Help. What do you mean help? Fix my problem. Write me the check. I don't have panosa. I need $100,000. Write the check. No. Takes time. There's a process over here. You want to fix your parnasa? There's a way to fix your parnasa. You want to fix your shalom bayis? There's a way, but there's a process. The first thing is surrender. Surrender and say, I am ready to do tshuva. Says the Rebbe. Moshe, the Gemara says, above the time. What does it mean? Above the time Messiah, that a person who wants to purify, they're going to help him. The Gemara brings a Moshe. Moshe le'echad shebal liknei afarsim. Person who came to buy a persimmon is a fruit that's a very good smelling fruit. They tell him, well, it's oil that smells like a perfume. So a person wants to come buy a expensive perfume. He goes into the store. The guy says, okay, wait, I'm going to bring you out. You want this perfume? Wait a minute, I'm going to bring you out. They tell him hamten. So the first thing that a person says, and this is our biggest discouragement, when we want to do tshuva, everybody goes through this challenge, and you do tshuva, and you say, that's it, I'm going to be an Erlich from now on. You're doing tshuva, and you expect the results. Okay, that's it, I did tshuva. Now, Rebbeinu Shalom, take me in. And all of a sudden, pung fakert, you're being challenged the opposite. You're getting challenged again. What's going on here? The process, it's a process. You want to do tshuva, you want to rectify, you're really sorry? Okay, let's see how you're sorry. Can you withstand? It's not a quick fix. It's something that needs, it's a process. Zog the Rebbe weiter. Keser. And that's the Indian of Keser. Like the Pasuk says, Kater li ze'er v'achaveko. The Pasuk says, wait for me a moment and I'll show you. And the lashon is from the same word of Keser. So this says Rabbi Abba Koydem Atshuva. Okay, this is going Kabbalistic. I don't want to lose the with the Kabbalistic part over here. Let's go back to this understanding of Yishma B'Zyoyin Yidem V'Yishta. How do we take this in practicality? How do we understand of recognizing our own humiliation? So we brought examples of, but when a person does tshuva with himself, he has to recognize in himself, what am I changing? What do I want to change? I want to change. What do I want to change? I have to recognize what did I do wrong. I have to understand the avla that I did, and accept and not try to. What our derech is denial. It never happened. And yeah, when it comes time to do tshuva, we talk about it. Rabbi Shalom, I just want to do tshuva. That's not tshuva. Tshuva is accepting my humiliation of what I did, accepting my bezoyin, and from that place, that's the miyat b'chvay datzmai. That's what I'm being mamayit b'chvay datzmai. Because the part that prevents me from acceptance is my ego. My ego doesn't let me face my humiliation. My ego says, deny it. Don't say it never happened. Don't tell anybody that it happened. And someone confronts you with it, either you deny it, or even if you accept it, you want it to go away as fast. How can I get out of this as fast as possible? Instead, no. Sit in it and accept it. Accept your humiliation. That is the place of real tshuva. When a person, that's how you get to really start making change. Because you're accepting, you're understanding what it was that triggered me to do this. Really, what always triggers you is your own ego. Somewhere, because you didn't get validation over here, so you went over here for false validation, for a false A, a false recognition, false A, and that's what triggered you. And as soon as you understand and you start identifying it, you're able to slowly process and bring yourself out of it, and be zoicha to do tshuva, shleima, and bring Mashiach to Scheiner b'meir.
Never told the news.
What?
Never told the news that you're getting rich red for the same, yeah?
No.
You get rich red for now.
Yeah. By the way, that's why a person gets red. You know why? It's shvichas damim. The Rebbe talks about shvichas damim over there. What's going on? When do I get some time with you? I'm going to be in Florida. How long are you here? Go here all the so the following week I'm going to be in Muncie. I'll be in let's learn something. Or schmooze. I don't care. I don't need to learn. Okay, I'm ready. 100%. That's more. Shkoyach for coming, Matis. Seeing your face.
What's your phone number?
347. Thank you.
Yeah.
733-0000.
That's your code. Very nice.
What's your name?
Mayor's friend, Ari Ross.
I know. I recognize you.
You saw the face.
I saw the face. I didn't know from where. It's good.
Baruch Hashem.
Yeah. You come to.
I just saw you posted it today on the Elul chat.
Yeah. Oh, you're on the content?
Yeah.
And you listen to the.
I listen. I try.
Yeah. Nice.
You're here next week, you said, or you're in Florida?
I'm not sure.
Not sure.
Why?
That's why I need your phone number. I need your
I'm
phone number to tell you I'm running late today.
I'm going to, yeah, so Adram, send me a text so I know if there's any change. I'm going to be here.
Are you on the Shiner's chat? There's a Likutei Moharan chat for Shiners.
No.
I'll put you on the chat. Okay.
Please.
Very good.
I met you before.